Morning, morning, Shaun. How's it going, man?
Hey, pretty good, man. I just went and got a cup of coffee, and there was like that much left in the pot, and so I'm drinking it's like bottom of the barrel coffee, but in my opinion, it's actually like the best, because I don't need I got like that much in my cup, and I can see the coffee chunks in here. So if I start shaking in about 5 minutes,
Coffee chunks. I like it. Well, I mean, I'm already probably about 6 cups in for the day, and I'm actually drinking water. And actually, it's lunch talk today with Shaun and John, and we're going to go a little different direction today because I guess the big thing is that what we do, what Shaun and I do, our day-to-day, everyday work, we are recruiters, we're headhunters. But there's a lot of other things that goes into that, and there's a lot of other people that we can impact from our platform. And as you can see, if Shaun goes really close to the camera again, he's covering up that beautiful head of hair of his. He's kind of a serial entrepreneur. He started a dryer vent cleaning business here in Sioux Falls, and Shaun, I want to talk to you a little bit about that just real quick.
Wow, you're switch. Okay, all right, you're going off script.
Maybe on the other topic, we can talk about kind of some of the things that I do as well.
Right. Yeah, we'll switch gears here.
Yeah,
it's your platform, man. Let her buck.
So tell me why would a successful recruiter, a successful headhunter like yourself, with 6 years, it's going into your 7th year into business here, why in the world would a guy like you that you really don't need anything more on your plate, why would you open a dryer vent cleaning company?
Well, first off, I want to give a shout out to Austin King. He just said, "Hey, clean those vents." Austin, I hope you're doing well, man. Well, John, I think, okay, so it's interesting you asked that. So I was actually talking to one of my clients 20 minutes ago, a really good client of mine in the Chicagoland area. And I was lining up an interview, actually getting some of those things going. And he's like, "So does your company, GPAC, do they have any issue with you doing the side business?" I said, "No, first off, I'm 100% commission. So I don't have this guaranteed salary where I have all of these expectations." And I said, and honestly, I said, I work for a company that values creativity, that values people finding their passion, that values, the money that I make from here, I could spend that and go travel, but I just decided to start up a business. And so for me, John, and you know this, and John, I know we're cut from the same cloth. I love recruiting. And I love helping people out. I love making connections. For you and I, it's a game, right? It's the chase of getting interviews set up. It's the chase of helping out companies, and then the money follows that. And the money is not like a big, of course we need money to survive, but I don't recruit. My main goal of recruiting isn't to make a bunch of money or do anything like that. To me, it's a game. I'm coming in, I'm playing a game, I'm competitive, and so I kind of took that same mentality. I saw a need in the market for cleaning out dryer vents in residential and commercial properties. And it was a very, very minimal investment. It really wasn't a big deal. And so now I look at that as a game. It's fun. And so I did it. And honestly, John, I think during the pandemic kind of made people, and for sure myself, and I know you, kind of rethink okay, if something happens in the economy, I think smart people are figuring out ways to have other streams of income. Having your income from one stream it's not the smartest thing. So if you have the capability to do a side hustle, why not do it? So I think a lot of it kind of stemmed from the pandemic. Was okay, what happens if something happens in my, my full-time job? I need to have a plan B. I got a family to feed. So for me, John, I think it was just one of those things. It's a game. I love having fun, and I look at dryer vent cleaning as a game, and it's going well. It's fun. The money, I don't even, honestly, this is crazy, I don't even really give a crap if I pay myself. That's like, I don't care. Like, I have an employee and he's our full-time employee. I want him to make more money than me in it as a business owner. I want to pay him well, treat him well, eventually, God willing, give him ownership down the road. That to me is much more fulfilling and exciting than everything, than just filling my pockets up. I don't even care about that. So I don't know if I answered your question, but it's just a game.
What you're describing for me, though, Shaun, is kind of the mindset. It's an entrepreneurial mindset. It's a mindset that we're not driven by money.
Right.
We're not driven by fame. We're not driven by all those things that a lot of people are driven by. And not that there's anything wrong with that. If you're driven by money, I mean, quite frankly, then there's never enough money. If that's what you're driven by,
you'll never be satisfied. You'll
really never be satisfied. And as entrepreneurs, I think that what it is about us is that competitiveness, but it's also driven by that why. And that why that you're describing is trying to build up and help other people.
Yeah.
Trying to make them successful. And that's what we do in recruiting. I mean, in recruiting, the name of our company says it all, GPAC, growing people in companies.
And that's not just an external thing, right? So that is external in the context of growing the clients that we work with, growing the professionals that we place. It absolutely applies to that, but it also applies internally. So what do I mean by that? Well, for you, John, for example, GPAC has given you the ability to, I would say, grow as a golfer, right? I mean, you can golf as much as you want. You're the Willow Run champion, and GPAC has given you the opportunity to do that. The other thing is you started up your coaching business. GPAC has given you the opportunity to grow professionally, the freedom, the flexibility, and the money that you've made has given you those opportunities to grow as well, right? So it's an external thing for the clients and the people that we help, but it's also an internal thing with GPAC employees. Not everyone takes advantage of it. We do, and it's awesome.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I know that there's multiple people here in our company, GPAC, that have other businesses, that work with other businesses. In fact, you know, your business partner runs a very, very successful property management firm. I mean, he does phenomenal things. We're going to have to bring him on if we can find him into the office and talk about that a little bit. But you mentioned it, Shaun. I mean, my background. I actually, prior to GPAC and throughout my entire life, I've worked I've worked with youth as a youth pastor, as a youth counselor. I've helped youth develop life skills and built them up in that way through the probation department. But also, I've been a pastor and I've been a teacher.
Once a pastor, always a pastor.
Right. Once a pastor, always a pastor. And by the way, you know, for those of you watching this, I'm not. I don't wear my faith on my sleeve like a wristwatch. It's a part of me, and that's part of me being an entrepreneur. Part of me wanting to help people. That's what makes me successful as a recruiter, because I really, really want to help people. I really want to see companies grow, and I really want to see individuals grow personally and professionally. And as a pastor, of course, as a pastor, as a Christian, I have a Christian bias that I want to help people, and I want to put people's needs ahead of my own. And when I see people, and I know in my mind that they can be so much more than what they are. And of course, there's a faith component. And if a person's not of the Christian faith, you know, it's really irrelevant. I want to help people regardless of their faith background. Right. I want to help people regardless of their religion or non-religion, or regardless of anything. Long story.
Well, let me ask you a question on that, John. Can I pause you?
Sure.
Okay. So, you know, I know. I love queso as well. Speaking of that, we should get some queso at Looks or have
I have
them.
no doubt.
They got to
No
have
doubt.
some homemade queso there. I bet they do.
I bet
Or
they do.
we'll call Julio. Julio's got some really good queso.
Julio's got some great queso.
Yes. So it was probably 4 months ago is kind of when I noticed you're on your Mac, your personal computer, and you were in all these classes. I mean, for hours on end, because you sit right behind me, right over here. No, it's over here.
The clean
right
desk over there. Yep.
It's right over here. And you were on these classes, and I know that you had some type of John Maxwell certification, I think, prior to recruiting. So kind of tell me a little bit what you've been working on these last few months, because I know you were in a lot of classes, you've got some more certifications. So just kind of fill me in and fill our audience in on what your side hustle is and why. Let's just fill in. I'm going to articulate my question. Fill us in on what your side hustle is and kind of how that's progressed the last few months.
Well, the thing is that the John Maxwell certification, along with I'm working with a world famous coach whose name is Christian Simpson, is something that, again, a certification that I had that ran concurrently with my master's degree and my doctorate degree, and just additional. I'm a learner. I'm a lifelong learner. I'm always learning. I'm always reading. I'm always learning is a passion of mine. I love to grow personally and professionally. And here's the thing: what I've seen in businesses and what I've seen within people, within individuals, is that they don't know what they don't know. They don't know the potential that lies within each one of them. And the most powerful process known to man by far is the coaching process. Now, I don't want people to be confused. I was a coach, an athletic coach. One of the things that I started out from the time I was in college, and I've coached middle school, high school, even some college in basketball, football, baseball, and I even do a little side coaching in golfing, right, Shaun?
Yeah, I got a running tab for 4 years now. 4 years, I've got a running tab.
So, and anyway, we won't go down that road, but I'm not talking about the type of coach that tells you what to do. That's the kind of coach I am. I'm not a direction coach. Now I can be. I just got off the phone today with one of our colleagues, Shaun, and we're always, again, GPAC. We're about culture here, big time. And we have a saying here. We say we give to the culture before we take from the culture.
Amen.
So a colleague of mine called today and said, "Hey, can I have 1 minute of your time?" And I said, "I'll give you what time you need. What can I help you with?" And without going into much detail, I spent about 35 minutes on the phone with this person and kind of walked him through some things that might help him grow his personal business, his personal brand within the company GPAC. And I hope it does. I really do. And I said that my greatest reward, and this is true, my greatest reward is not to be told, not for him to go announce to somebody that I helped him. My greatest reward is for him to be successful, for him to grow in this business, and then to pass that on to somebody else. So that's the backdrop for what I'm doing.
Yep.
My passion from within me is that I love helping people become better than what they are right now, whatever that looks like, whatever that picture looks like. And the biggest thing I find with companies is that ownership gets in their own way because they don't know what they don't know. And they just need it to be brought up to the surface. But they know it within themselves. Business owners spend a ton of money going to conferences, for example. They go to conferences and they get pumped up and they get excited and they're saying, "Oh, wow, these are great ideas and they're wonderful," and everything else. And they've got all these things. They get pumped up and motivated. And guess what? 1 week later, 3 weeks later, 2 months later, those things all go by the wayside. The excitement is gone, and they're in the same spot that they were in before, than before they went to the conference.
Right.
The value that I add as a coach is I'm able to bring to the surface those things that you know within yourself, the answers to the questions, the things, the roadblocks that are getting in your way, the terror barrier that many business owners have. And by the way, they're all human beings, so it's a holistic approach. The terror barrier that's keeping them from reaching their top potential, their top line potential. So my saying is, as far as business owners go, is that my goal is to develop the business owner and not the business. And Shaun, hopefully you can testify to this.
Yep.
In your business, as you were growing your business, I had the pleasure of giving not just input as far as business framework, how to do business framework, but to ask questions that you knew the answer to,
right,
to help, but you couldn't get out of your own way. You couldn't
right. Well, I've got something to add on to that, and it's interesting because I remember. So I have an employee, and his name's Marcus, and he is a tremendous employee. He actually does have an ownership mindset. But I remember when I first started, Logan and I first started it, I was kind of a micromanager, and I think anytime you start up a new business and you got an employee working for you, there has to be some type of micromanagement to make sure we're all on the same page. But I remember you saying something, and I can't remember the specific words, but pretty much you said you got to get out of that guy's way and let him right have that freedom and that flexibility and that creative as an employee to figure stuff out, right? Like, I don't need to be on the job. There's no reason for me to be on the job site with him on a lot of these projects. I mean, we're working on a bigger one right now, and so that was the one thing I had to learn, is kind of how to let go, right? And let my employee really think about these things. And actually what I figured out, John, and this is as a result of some of the things that you said to me, he's a hell of a lot smarter than I am. I'm not kidding. He's a more of a critical thinker than I am. He is much more organized than I am. His thinking process is much more methodical. So when we're working on big multi-unit complexes, he has a capability much better than I do to think about how to approach these. And so what I figured out is that I just let him go with it. And it's been great because that gets buy-in from him as the employee, right?
And that's what we do as a coach, is that I didn't tell you that, but what I said.
You said something and it kind of pissed me off, but it's what I needed to hear.
Yeah. So
I don't know what it was, but it's something that triggered
what's
me.
The worst? Maybe it's what's the worst thing that could happen if you allowed Austin to do the job and make the mistakes, and then learn from those mistakes. How much better of an employee would he be?
Right.
And how much more effective would you be? Which what your job is to promote the business, to build the business, to get the client, the client, to do all those type of things. What if you got that part of it out of your way and you were able to do this? Where would your business be? And I think some of the contracts that you've been able to get, due to the fact that he's become much more effective, have been evidence of that. But that's exactly it. Developing the owner, developing the mindset of the owner, developing the owner, as opposed to focusing on the day-to-day minutia that goes on in business, is much more valuable, and ultimately will help you be more successful in your business as you learn how to do that. And the other thing, the problem with me coaching you is that we're in such a tight relationship, and Shaun, you're one of my best friends, okay? And we're in such a tight relationship that sometimes that blinds me to being able to help you. But you were motivated to go out and call up a coach locally.
Oh yeah.
And that coach has guided you along.
Well, yeah, I think, I've never thought about, when you started getting it, like when you started getting, building your website and getting really serious about this coaching thing, my mindset was like, dang, that makes sense to have a life business coach, whatever you want to call them. And there's a tremendous amount of value to it. I mean, I'll be the first to admit I don't have all my stuff together, whether it's personally, professionally, all of that stuff. And I think everyone, if they're humble enough, can see that there's areas in our life where we need help, right? And I think just listening to some of the calls that you were on and really kind of digging into what you do as a coach, I'm like, man, I would love to have somebody coaching me. Because there's things that I just need help with. And I tell you what, I'm like a lone wolf almost. And so I needed to kind of be brought in. And I've been meeting with a gentleman local to Sioux Falls who does, in my opinion, exactly what you are doing. And I think you guys have very much the same approach where it's getting those answers out of me. It's not, hey, Shaun, do this, this, and this, and this. It's much more methodical than that.
Well, right. So for example, and this just kind of popped up. And by the way, if you want to copy that link and send it to Ryan, the link that I sent you, and send it to your brother on message.
Okay.
On text message. But anyway, so just that thought right there. Everybody needs a little bit of help. It's not wrong to have a coach, but if you develop that mindset that you basically have within yourself the knowledge that you need to do what you want to do to reach your maximum potential. If you have that knowledge within yourself, wouldn't you do everything that you can do to bring that to the surface and to be able to use that knowledge and to be able to become more effective? So, and I'm not throwing Shaun underneath the bus here.
Throw me under and run me over, man.
Because both of us are the same way. But one of the things that we know is going out the window is business that we could be having. Because of a little bit of a lack of organization.
A little bit. Come on, John. Come on. A little bit.
we're running full speed ahead all the time, 1,000 miles an hour, going, just
busting walls down,
attacking.
Dude, we lose more business than we get. I mean, it's just
bull in a china shop, so to speak. That kind of thing, and. The fun thing, the thing is that I think one of the most valuable things that Shaun has applied. So it doesn't mean a hill of beans if we bring it to the surface,
right?
But that Shaun has applied is kind of some organizational tips and tools that he's started to bring to the table, and as he's consistently been able to do that, been able to use those tools, that's helped him. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so that was the biggest thing, John. And I think you've probably learned this in the classes and the mentors that have poured into your life. I fight against organization, but I know it's good for me because it's kind of like guardrails, right? It's like when you bowl and you put up those rails, that's the way I look at it. It just keeps me on that path. And for whatever reason, getting organized for me, in my opinion, is the foundation to where I need to, that's like the foundation, right? Like that's like the foundation for my personal life. And I think one thing is that a coach, my coach, and I know you do this as well. I knew that. Okay. I knew I have to get organized, but for some odd reason, I just needed somebody to help me get to that point.
But here's the thing, Shaun, and I'm not throwing you under the bus, but if I told you,
when you say you're not throwing me under the bus, you're right. You're shoving me under the bus.
If I told you, Shaun, because of your personality and because of my personality as well, if I told you need to get organized,
right,
your response would be,
go pound sand.
Right. But but if I through the process and asking questions, what are the things that are standing, do you think are standing in the way of you getting to the next level of your business? You would say,
I would say that I don't know what my next step is. I just come in and do whatever is in my mind. I've got all of these things I need to do, and they just never escape my mind, you know?
So would you say, and I'll ask the question, so would you say, Shaun, that you have a problem writing things down or organizing? Would you?
Yep. Yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
So what are some things that you think you could do, Shaun, to become more organized?
Well, first off, for starters, and this is I should be paying people for this, because this is big time. But it's getting a schedule, a planner, daily planner. Was a good start for me. That was a good start.
Okay, so Shaun, so you're saying that writing down your things in a daily planner helps you become more organized.
That's a good start.
So
it's a good start.
So are you saying that you're committed to going out and purchasing an organizer and starting to write down some things in that organizer to help you become more organized?
I am, but it's not easy. That's the thing. It's not easy, right? Because it's a whole shift in my habits. And so for me just to go buy it for whatever reason took me a few weeks to get to that point. To write it on a consistent basis and to do that, I'm still not to that point, but I'm making progress. And like my wife has this great saying, and I love it: progress, not perfection. And that applies to all sorts of life, right?
So what a coach would do is that I would get that commitment from you instead of me telling you to go out and buy a planner. I would say, how committed, Shaun, are you to begin a daily plan? 1 out of 10.
5.
Okay, Shaun, that's great. Thank you for being honest. Now, what would make that 5 a 10?
Me not being, I would say, just hard nosed. You know, me doing something that I'm not really. I think for me, John, personally, is like I kind of, not I don't say I want to fear change, but it's hard for me to get out of my habits. It's hard because like it's a complete lifestyle change for me to get organized. It's just my personality, the way that God designed me. It's hard for me to completely learn a new entire habit. That's the hardest thing, and I understand that. And that's why I used to have this expectation that, man, if I don't start doing this on day one, I'm a failure. I got to get out of that mindset. And so now my mindset is, hey, if I just even write in it once or twice a week, I'm okay with that, because that's a good starting point.
Right. You know exactly.
I'm trying to get out of my own way.
Yeah. The point being that a coach in the traditional sense is going to say, you need to get a planner. You need to write in it every day. You need to have it broken down to 10-minute increments. And blah, 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 blah. And that would never, ever happen. And in fact, that would take Shaun and make him go backwards to rebel against that idea. But if he comes up with that idea and says, I think one thing I should do is I should write things down on a consistent basis. And I say, that sounds great, Shaun. What's your commitment level to doing that? And then we can make it a goal.
Yep.
Shaun, let's get, what do you think a reasonable goal is this week for writing in that planner, Shaun?
Dude, I feel this is the exact approach that my coach takes. I mean, it's like deja vu.
But see, it's something so easy and something so fundamental, right? But that is something that and you think about, but you don't have that. You got to get out of your own way. And finally, the coach helped you get out of your own way in that one small area. And now you're making progress. And now the coach also Hey, Shaun, he might say, hey, Shaun, do I have permission? We talked about last session that you wanted to become more organized. How was your week this week in your organization? How many times did you write in your planner this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think, and with where I'm at right now in my coaching, I like that accountability. I kind of like that because that's gonna drive me. That's a better way to keep me accountable, right? Versus saying, "Hey, I'm going to check it," and this is just my personality, right? And I think that's what makes someone a good coach. And I don't know the first thing about coaching, but I think you would agree with this: is that everyone's different, and some people need different things. And for me, just with my personality and with where I'm at with things, that's a great question, and that's a great way for me to be accountable by asking something like that.
Right. So you started out asking me about coaching. We've gone into kind of an example coaching session.
I know you're going to send me a freaking bill now for a coaching session. Hey. I know that you're going to just put it on my golfing tab.
Okay, I'll put it on your golf tab. So this is what I do. And you say, what's the value of that? Well, the reality is that the value that I bring to my clients with GPAC, and by the way, my clients with GPAC, my business clients with GPAC, get that coaching portion. When it comes to recruiting, when it comes to helping their business, that consulting portion, they get that from me already. My candidates that I work with at GPAC, my candidates get that little coaching from me when I'm helping them to find a job. I coach them on how to interview. I coach them on how to present themselves the best way that they can present themselves. I give insights into their resume, and even into the way that they can talk about their experiences at their present job. I ask questions that bring out responses from them, and it's according to what they want. But here's the thing: coaching, as far as a side thing, coaching, you as the client, Shaun, you set the agenda. My agenda is I want to be a better husband, I want to be a better father, I want to be a better businessman. Help me to do that. Well, it's a holistic approach, and there's things in your life that you bring to the table and say, hey, this week I lost a customer because I didn't call them back. Help me. Well, right. What does that look like? Tell me about it, blah, blah, blah. This helps you take baby steps, progressive steps at your pace and by your agenda to make you a better person. I don't know anything. I don't know the first thing. Well, I know a little bit because I was there with you when you started your dryer vent cleaning company, when you went there to Iowa and got some consulting and stuff like that. And I understand the concept, and I understand everything, basically what goes on in the business. But here's the thing: you know way more than I know about the business. Every drywall company and paint company I work with at GPAC knows way more about drywall and way more about paint than I do. I don't know anything about it. But what I do know is I know humans. I know human nature. And I can help you. I can't help you with the technical aspects and tell you how to clean a dryer vent better. I can't tell you how to do it faster. I can tell you that your employee could tell me all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I can help him. I can help him grow. Here's the thing: there right now. Everybody is. You are right here. You are right here, and your potential is above the camera view. Mm-hmm. Your potential is way up here. My job as a coach is to help you at your own pace and at your own schedule progress from where you are today to where you are up here. To where you can be. And I believe that the potential that you have and that every person has is infinite. I mean, I could say infinite or infinite.
I like infinite. Infinite sounds much more just doctoral.
It sounds more like me. But I can help you at your own where you're get from where you're at right now to get to where you want to be. And then you get to where you want to be, and guess what? You're going to find out that your cap is so much higher than so much higher than what you even know, and I can help you find those tools within yourself to get to that point. But you have to be able to say, that's the whole coaching relationship. That's the
Right.
relationship. And like I said, we in our recruiting business and consulting with companies, Shaun, you and I both have played the role of consultant, coach, whatever,
Right.
to help them get to where help them. We've done it with hundreds of companies. Now, I personally want to expand that out beyond the recruiting business,
Right.
and help people with whatever they need. Now, one of my coaching businesses, one of the things I coach in, one of the things I specialize in is barbecue.
Yes, dude.
And so one of the aspects of my business is going to be the barbecue coach, the smoking coach, to help people, weekend warriors like you and your brother Ryan and my buddy JR and others.
Is JR smoking now?
Oh, he's been doing it, man. And
right on, dude. Right on.
He's really has a good time with it. But a lot of people go out and they buy that Traeger and they buy that grill, and they're really good.
Got to go with the pit. A good starter is a Pit Boss. It's more affordable, and I can actually sear stuff with it. I can just move that plate without. I got a handle to move that plate to sear.
Now, Shaun, our next coaching session is I'm going to say, don't drop names of companies unless they're paying you to drop their names.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? But anyway, whatever kind of grill you have, I mean, it's great for flipping burgers and doing experimenting. Yep. And guess what? I've burned more meat than anybody, for sure. But I've learned how to do it, and I've become Shaun. I know.
Well,
Shaun,
let me tell you this as far as smoking, and then we should probably go over to Looks and have some smoked meat over there.
Oh man,
I haven't with under your guidance, and I mean, I like your this barbecue coaching thing. It sounds silly, but I think it's a great little niche market. I think there's a lot of guys out there like myself who just need. I mean, you can go on Google, you can go on YouTube, but I've been doing it. But I will tell you this: I have never cooked a bad meal on my smoker yet, under your guidance and direction. And I will tell you this. My wife says that my ribs are better than yours. And you, as my barbecue coach, should be happy and thankful for that.
Well, I was going to mention
you should be proud that your student can smoke ribs better than you.
Again, in your wife's opinion, just like you said, your wife makes the best chili in the world. Even though
I thought it was bean soup. So I thought it was bean soup. According to you, it's bean soup.
But my wife says the same thing about my ribs as has many satisfied customers around the world. But I'm very happy that I'm very happy that your rib smoking has exceeded my rib smoking in your household for sure. But here's the good thing, and here's the wonderful thing. The fun thing about smoking is everybody's tastes are different. My direction is only about how to get the meat to the point where it's really, really good. And I say, you add your seasonings, you add your sauces, you add your little tips and tricks, and you're going to find out what tastes better for you and what's best for you. It's just like with the golf you were going to mention earlier today, Shaun, is that you said you wanted me to come out golfing with you this morning because you were ready to beat me at your course. And I was going to say, before anything else, nothing would make me happier than you beating me on your home golf course. Nothing would make me happier because of all the tips and all the tricks and the recommendation of the certain type of clubs that I recommended that you would go out and get fitted for, and all those other things. Nothing would make me happier if you beat me straight up. It's just like when my kids were coming up. Nothing made me happier when they beat me at basketball or whatever, although I never let them do it. I never allowed them to do it. I've never allowed them to do it. So anyway, we're going to close this up. It's been a great lunch talk. I hope it's brought value to you. Listen, right there on the bottom, I have on there, subscribe to my YouTube page. If you can't get this off of the screen, then go ahead. Reach out to me on LinkedIn, John.
Yeah, let me throw in a little pitch here. I would say this: if you're someone, I don't care who you are, if you're a business owner, you clean toilets for a living, whatever you are, I believe it's a phenomenal idea. It's a phenomenal, it's always good to have good, to have people around you that are going to build you up. If you're looking for a business coach, you're looking for a life coach, I recommend John. Been working with him every day in the office for 4 years, every single day. And I will say this, I don't know anybody that works harder than him. I don't know one person that I know that works harder than him, that is more passionate than him. And I will say this, for 4 years, I've seen you coach many recruiters in our company, helping them out. I mean, and this is not even on a consulting basis, just being a good coworker. And I remember just like, dude, I'm like, stop trying to help that person. They're not going to make it, but it's in your blood. You can't even help it. Right. And I remember me telling you, like, dude, you're wasting your time. See, I'm not a good coach. I'm too damn selfish. But I will say that John has a heart for it. He can help you any direction you're trying to go. So reach out to him on LinkedIn, reach out to him on YouTube. I know he's working on a pretty cool website. And so there's my pitch.
Well, thank you, Shaun, for that. And
I'll charge 20%.
Let me throw out. I'll make it up right here. Let me throw this out. Let me throw this out as well. If you live in the Sioux Falls metropolitan area and you own a home, you need to give Shaun a call. If you've got a dryer in your home and you can't remember the last time that you had that dryer cleaned, if you've just bought a new home, or if you're thinking about purchasing a new home, I want to tell you,
I'll come out and inspect the dryer. I'll meet the inspector out there. We do that a lot. We meet inspectors with people. We'll go. We have a camera. We go in there and inspect it. All of that stuff. You gotta call this guy. He does not do air conditioning vents, but he does give referrals. He doesn't do any of those other kind of things. But what he does is he cleans dryer vents. He does it well. He does it for a great price. He's by far the best. He's the most efficient, the fastest dryer vent cleaner in the industry, but he does it at a really, really great price as well. And so, his tech is by far the amazing.
Most expert tech.
5-star reviews on every residential cleaning we've had. The guy gets 5-star reviews every time. It's every single time. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, are you like, I mean, it's weird almost, but all right, we can cut this short, man.
Well, I'm hungry. You're hungry. This is Lunch Talk with Shaun and John. Hope this brought value to you, and look us up, man. We're more than happy to connect with you. Peace.